The holidays aren't complete without making a gingerbread house. And what better house is there than Pemberley? This project took several days to design, bake, and decorate. If you would like to make your own gingerbread Pemberley, I've made a simple PDF guide that you can download below. Join me as I pollute the shades of Pemberley with several pounds of sugar. Fair warning, making this gingerbread house will turn you into a landlord. Step 1. Design. I used the 1995 version of Pride and Prejudice as my inspiration. I took a photo of Lyme Park and imported that into Photoshop. Then I used that to create a simplified silhouette of Pemberley. You can do this yourself freehand, but I found it was much simpler putting it into the computer, and that way I can scale it however I'd like. There are programs out there that will allow you to do this, but I was already familiar with Photoshop, so I used that. Step 2. Making the gingerbread. I used a construction gingerbread recipe from Serious Eats. I'll link that below. It was a really good recipe for this because it allowed the dough to be rolled out very thin. Add the brown sugar, spices, and butter. Mix it on low and then add the corn syrup. The corn syrup is what allows the dough to stay flat when baking. The first recipe I tried had molasses in it, so it puffed up more than Mr. Collins does when someone mentions Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Once your butter is creamy, add the flour. Make sure to stop the stand mixer when it makes a choking noise like Mr. Hurst waking up from a nap. I ended up kneading the dough to mix it completely. Then once it's kneaded, just flatten it out into a rectangle. This makes it a little bit easier to roll it out. You can place your templates on a baking sheet beforehand just to see if you have enough room and how many sheets you'll need to complete the gingerbread house. Roll out your dough fairly thin. You can make it as much as up to about 1/8 of an inch, but I made it smaller than this. Store any excess in plastic wrap and then put that in the fridge. You place your templates down and then just start cutting them out. I found out that using a pizza wheel makes it go by so much faster when you're working with straight lines. You want to score the gingerbread completely through. The gingerbread will bake these pieces together, so you'll have to score this immediately after coming out of the oven, but this makes it a lot simpler. I would recommend removing the windows and doors. You will get a little bit of spreadage from the baking, but you can remove this immediately after removing it from the oven. I made some ice melt in the microwave and then poured it in for the windows. You can skip this step if you want to. One thing I would say is ice melt is extremely hot, so make sure you have some ice water nearby. Ice melt will burn you almost as badly as Lady Catherine telling you she sends no compliments to your mother. Then I made some royal icing. This recipe is very simple. Just add some powdered sugar, icing sugar, cream of tartar, and egg whites. You want the icing to be stiff, but not as stiff as Mr. Darcy at a party where he doesn't know anyone. Step 3. Decorating. Decorating is the fun part, and don't worry about what other people like. This is your chance to be creative. Those other people are just mad that they aren't blessed with the noble patronage of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. After outlining my windows, I added some garlands to give it a pop of color. Then I added red sprinkles on top while the icing was still wet so that it looked like holly berries. My piping is a little all over the place. If I had ever learned to pipe, I would have been a true proficient. You can add as much or as little as you'd like here. I ended up using candy canes, some gummy bears, and the royal icing, but you could really just go wild. Step 4. Construction. Now that the pieces are decorated, it's time to assemble the gingerbread house. I used isomalt to glue the pieces together. This made the structure very sturdy. You can use royal icing to glue them pieces together, but it will take longer to dry. It's best to have someone else give you a hand so you don't drop anything. I reinforced the corners with more isomalt just to make sure that it was sturdy enough, and I tried to keep my hands away from the dripping sugar, but I still burned myself, so it might be better to use the royal icing. I used a foam board as the base and attached the assembled pieces to it using a stiff royal icing, and then I made sure to measure their placement so the roof would fit. The template piece for the roof ended up being a little small because of some spreadage in the baking, but it was easy to measure out the dimensions and add it to the roof template. Lyme Park has some railings that go around the perimeter of the roof, so I used some leftover gingerbread and diluted that with water to make a thin paste that I then piped onto a baking sheet and baked them at the same temperature as the gingerbread dough. These pieces are just like Mrs. Bennet's nerves, extremely fragile, so be careful when handling them. Next, I assembled the portico using candy canes and isomalt. After everything was secure, I added some final decorations like extra garlands and icicles. You can just pipe on some thicker royal icing and just let it hang. Make the icicles differing heights just so it looks more natural. Then I added some snow to the roof, and that also served as glue for the railings. I outlined the foam board with a thick bead of icing so I could use a fill layer of thin icing. You don't have to do this, especially if you use a white board, but I just wanted everything to look cohesive. You can make a Christmas tree using just an ice cream cone and some green icing. I wanted to make the lake out of isomalt, but it caramelized and turned into this sludgy brown mess, so I ended up covering that with royal icing. We all know Darcy is a snack, so let's make a gingerbread Darcy. And there you have it, the finest gingerbread house in all of Derbyshire. At least the miserable half. I hope you had fun watching this tutorial and that you'll make your own. Please share your gingerbread Pemberley with me. I'm at Austen First Drafts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. If you like this tutorial, please subscribe for more Jane Austen content. The template is free, but I have set up a Ko-fi account if you'd like to donate just a small amount. Happy holidays, and don't forget to pollute those shades.